Hi guys, welcome back to Absolutely Clueless. This is episode 3.
Yes, and we are going to be talking about fears of growing old this episode.
This one, we're going to get deep. We're going to actually get really deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because these are all our irrational and very rational fears of aging, just going through life as an adult and, like all the things that come with it.
Yeah, every stage there's a new challenge, and we've only just started really to become proper adults. So we're at the beginning of, God willing, a very long journey.
I hope so.
But yeah, we have to embrace all of this. We asked our nearest and dearest for their fears, and they delivered. And to be honest, it sounds like we all have the same fucking fears. So let's get into it.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start?
So the first one that I wrote on my list is growing apart from friends.
We've actually, I feel like we've experienced this because we're old enough now to have had really strong friendships in like school, and then mix and match friends, then gain new friends at jobs, then lose those friendships. So I think that's already started for us.
Exactly, and it's just because through no fault of our own, it's just like having different lifestyles or just being at different stages in life can cause you to like drift apart. Like when one friend goes traveling or another friend has already started working whilst other people are studying, and it's just like, who do you have time? You end up hanging out with the people that like their lifestyle is more aligned to yours.
Yeah.
So you're more likely to have student friends if you're a student, or you're more likely to have traveling friends if you're going traveling and stuff. So it's really like it really depends. And then I think one of my so like explaining that in a bit more detail is basically in the future, because I've said I'm not 100% sure about having children or even if I can see myself getting married. But then if my friends are getting married and having children, they're obviously going to be very much...
That's their family unit.
Yeah.
And you would be my family.
I know, I want to be
your family. You'd be at my Christmas dinners and stuff. We'd be like, in all our family photos. And Matthew's like
the
back there.
Yeah, in the back. No, in the front. In the front.
Yeah. With the kids. Yeah, I get what you mean, because I feel like, it's a consideration. I think especially when I look at like my nana and her friends, and the friends that have had their kids pass away and their partners have passed away, or maybe they didn't have kids and they didn't have siblings, and I think you have to be super proactive about creating a circle for yourself in those situations. Cause
so true, yeah.
Some people do just crumble under the fact that they don't feel like they have a unit, and others make a unit for themselves. And I think you have to be a very strong-willed person to make a unit, like start again and make a unit for yourself, a family for yourself.
That's so true. Yeah, that's so true. And like thinking about that, I think my mum is a really good example of that, because we don't have a lot of family, and it really is in England. It's just me, my mum, and my brother, who we don't see that much. But obviously, when I've not been living at home, my mum's just been on her own. But she's been really good at like going on hiking groups, going sailing, like taking herself on holiday, doing solo travel. And then with that, she's made so many different friends. And then she's made a lot of like single friends as well. So they have like their own little like gang of single ladies.
Yeah, that's nice. It's definitely, it's something that you can create for yourself, but I get what you mean, like, because friendship is family as well. I feel like maybe I put even more effort in than I do with my relationship to keep my friendships that I genuinely value, because I think, like, they're so important. Like, even if things are rocky or, like, up and down, or there's gaps, like, for example, one of our really close friends went traveling, that could have easily fizzled out if we didn't make the effort to stay in contact. And like, I think the minute she came back to England, it was like, okay, come round.
Yeah, and when we hung out, it's like she never went away.
Exactly, honestly,
it's like the exact same.
Yeah, so it's effort, and it's just like how much time and energy you invest into those relationships. You have to do it with everyone. I think people talk too much about investing into the romantic relationships and not enough about friendships.
I think you're really good at that, because an example is like you decided to spend New Year's Eve with like the girls and your boyfriend wasn't even there. But it's because you're so secure in your relationship that Like, you know, you're gonna see him like on other occasions, like, you know, yeah. Whereas I feel like that's a big question for a lot of girls, is like, or people in general, is like, oh, like, I want to have the kiss at midnight with my partner, and like, I don't want to miss out on that. But then it's like, how do you juggle having that and then also like being with your friends? But then it's like, it's not that deep actually. Don't have to make it a big deal.
Both, it's like how, for example, I know a lot of girls have issues with their boyfriends going away as well. And I actually really get excited for my boyfriend going away, because I'm like, that's your time to be with your friends, and like, you'll come back with all these stories, and like, I want you to be happy and excited for me when I go away with the girls, because that's like my time away with them, and it is a different dynamic to when we're together. We have fun together, but it's like, those are his school friends and his college friends and his uni friends. Like, who am I to say, no, you can't? Like, that's not fair.
No, that's true. So, yeah, you want him to come back with gossip and fresh stories to tell you.
Yeah. That's the main reason.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I get why that's a fear of yours. I think that sometimes, I'm like, I look at, for example, when you look at, like, my mum, and she's now in her 60s, and like, she's been through like stages of friendships with people, like when she was our age, and then again when she was like in her 30s to 40s, and like the friendships she had with the other mums at school, and like now she's got different kinds of friends.
That's true. The cycles will change. And obviously you've got, if you're a mum and you make friends with other mums, like, you obviously have like that in common. So, but then you might actually feel like the lonely one if you're a mum but all your friends are single. Then you might feel like they're in a different stage to you. Whereas I was thinking about it like the opposite way. What if I'm the only single one and everyone else is like married off?
I mean, do you see yourself being like the auntie of the year, do you think?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. That's what matters. I feel like it's different. I think as long as everyone is able to bend with the different dynamics of like people's stages of life.
And
be flexible. Because I think it would be one thing if you were like the friend that didn't have kids but like fucking hated kids, and you're like, why is he here again? It's like, well, I have to bring him because it's my child.
That's so true.
But if you're like, oh, I'm obsessed, like people that are like, I'm obsessed with my nieces, I'm obsessed with my nephews, I just don't want them myself. I like giving them back.
People do say that.
I just love the fact that I can give them back after 2 days. Like, okay, well, I loved having you here for the weekend, but go home now. It's time for you to go. So that's, you can work with that.
That's true. And true friends will stick with you through that stages. So actually, it's not really a worry. It's just like, what if that does happen? But it's not really like, depends.
I feel like the first fears that I think of is way more superficial than that. I think of like visual changes and like health. I guess it's not super superficial because health is important.
Yes, it is.
But it's definitely, I know that the older we get, it becomes those fears that you have of like, you know, when you have a headache and you're like, oh, what if it's this? What if it's this? That irrational style of thinking starts to become more rational the older you get, because it's like, no, actually, you're in the age bracket of this possibly being an issue. You need to go to the doctor.
I know.
And that scares me. I think as well because I have health anxiety. It's not that bad now, but it once was really, really bad. And the way that a lot of my like therapy kind of helped me get out of the mindset of panicking about, you know, my arm throbbing or me having a headache or my heart rate increasing or whatever, would be, you're young, you're healthy, what happens when I'm 45, huh? How am I supposed to take myself out of that mentality?
Because that same argument, it doesn't
apply.
No, it doesn't apply anymore. The same justification can't be used.
I need private healthcare because I want the doctor to be available to me at every minute of I need, like, because with the NHS doctors, obviously they're great, but you need to wait for that shit. Like,
I definitely put that as one of my fears of like growing old, is getting sick at some point, because you don't know, like, people in my family have had cancer, so thinking about the future, I could possibly have cancer, or just any kind of illness that will then cause me to like actually feel it physically, like if it'll change my mobility and my strength. And
that's a big fear of mine.
Because, you know, all old people seem to have like a bit of a bad back or a bad knee, you know, they all have something. Actually, your nana is quite...
My nana has really good posture since forever.
That's me. Conscious
She's
about.
only, I know, I was literally like, when you said my back, I was like,
Yeah.
but she's like, she walks with a stick now, but she doesn't ever, like, she is such a stickler for standing tall. I mean, my granddad was super, super, super tall, like 6 foot, I don't even know. He was tall.
Yeah.
And she's tall, she's still taller than me, and she's shrunk. I think she was 5'10", now she's 5'8".
Yeah.
And she's 92. So,
wow. Yeah.
and she still stands very tall. And posture is just always a big thing. So I think as long as you prioritize it, it's just hard. This is actually one of the reasons why I wanted to look at maybe starting yoga.
Yeah.
Just because it is important. Posture is actually really important.
Yeah, and it is just good for mobility. It'll help you with just everything else. Like I remember a teacher at school talking about how like squats are really good at preventing hip injuries when you're older because you've like strengthened that area. So yeah, but like the way that me and Samara are such like gym girls. Yeah. Imagine if we ever like went through some kind of injury that we then we weren't able to go to the gym. Or,
I think about that a lot.
Yeah, and that's scary.
MS, that's my like biggest fear of all time in the world. You know, motor neuron injury.
Is it where you just start?
What Stephen Hawking had.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And I saw an like news article thing, like a bit on the news about a rugby player who he had MS, and it was showing when he first got diagnosed and how he was really advocating. He was still playing rugby. He's obviously an athlete. And then it skipped like 5 years later, and he's like unrecognizable. He's still in such good spirits, and he still supports all these charities. I think he started his own. Yeah. And that is, it's so commendable, because when you're going through all of that, and you know they have young children, and you can't really physically help with them anymore. I can't describe to you, like it actually really upset me. Like because rugby players are big guys, and he was so small and so like. He just looked like so unwell, because obviously this syndrome was just like eating away at him. It was just really scared me. It really scared me.
It is sad.
And that is because people obviously the disease is inevitably fatal because you end up losing control of like vital organs. And that is just, sorry to get deep, but that is my biggest fear. It really scares me. I hate that. Honestly, and dementia. I think the common thing is anything where you can lose yourself with your identity. Yeah. A key part of your identity. That's a big fear of mine. Definitely. Sure.
And just getting to a point as well where you lose like your ability to take care of yourself, and you become more dependable on other people. Yeah. Like obviously there's nothing wrong with that, and like that is just part of life, and a lot of people have to go through that, and it's not like they're a burden on anyone, but it's just like, you know, when you've lived a life where you have been able to take care of yourself, and you feel like you've got a sense of pride attached to that, and all of a sudden, you know, from like one thing that changes, it's just a bit of a scary thing to think of. But if especially our generation, the way medicine is, we probably are going to live a really long time, like well into our 90s and stuff. So we are inevitably going to encounter some kind of health issues. And we just have to be conscious. Not conscious, but just like try not to dwell too much on it. Also, I have a really irrational fear of my mum, again touch wood, getting like dementia. I don't know why, but that would, I think because to me she's like the fountain of knowledge. I know. It's like that specific thing would like, I'd be like, oh no. You'd feel that like loss in a way. Yeah, that's another fear of growing old, is like inevitably people are gonna die, and like we're gonna end up having to go through grief and having to witness loss. And the frequency of it will keep building the older you get. Like my nana goes to so many funerals now. Of friends. And I guess it's kind of bittersweet, because it's like, obviously it's heartbreaking, but her friends have lived a really long and fulfilling life. They have great grandkids. They can leave and say, I've
you know, had the time to do everything that I possibly could have.
Yeah, and they've actually lived life to the fullest. They've had a full life. Yeah, and experienced a lot.
Yeah, for sure. But obviously no one wants to say goodbye to people they love.
No.
We have things coming in.
Yeah.
Relationships. I think this was something that you wrote, but also one of our friends put down. Being with, so this person said, being with someone and then breaking up like late 20s. Think bigger.
Think bigger. Honestly, what I wrote, because I'm not scared about that at all.
You can restart.
I almost think that's a bit of a given. Like, I'm kind of like, yeah, fuck it. If I have loads of breakups in my 20s. Yeah.
I think you'll actually be completely...
I know, exactly.
Maybe it's because it's worth saying, she's only a year younger, but she is younger, so I feel like maybe late 20s does sound a lot more distant, whereas now I'm 25, I'm like, late 20s is around the corner. Also, we hang out a lot with my boyfriend's friends. They're all late 20s, early 30s. And it just kind of puts into perspective that it's really not that deep if you've not figured it out by then.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
And that's not really growing old, is that?
No.
Late 20s.
Oh, girl.
But what I wrote was growing with a partner and falling out of love after about 20 years or something. Like, imagine that, and then having to start again after a divorce.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's like a hypothetical situation because that's not like guaranteed that we're gonna, you're gonna grow up with someone like in a relationship and then break up. Like, that's kind of being scared, isn't it? Like, for the worst outcome.
It is.
It's possible.
Well, I actually spoke to my boyfriend about this because I had the exact same thing. I was just like, we're so in love now, but we've never known anyone to last as long as, past 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Even our parents have been divorced, so we don't have like a visual of even people. It makes me even question people that have been together that long. I'm like, well, are you in love the way that I would say that I'm in love? Like, is your idea of love and what makes you happy what would make me happy? Like, would I be satisfied with the kind of relationship you still have?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
There are some people that they've only been together for so long because they've put up with bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely.
I'm not doing that.
When they talk about their ups and downs, their downs are literally cheating scandals.
Yeah,
like cheating scandals.
We've really worked through. We've been through a lot together. And it's like you stayed with them after they cheated on you, and it was like this big. Yeah, no, that's not going through a lot. That's like time to end the relationship for me.
I know, but some people stay together, like Beyonce and Jay-Z. We talked about this in one of the episodes.
Yeah, no, I have a fear of. I think my main fear is like falling out of love after like 20 years because I just don't know. I just get so skeptical about how it can last that long.
Yeah,
I'm just like, because I guess because we've never experienced it.
I know, definitely.
And I guess it is. Matty said to me, my boyfriend said to me that it was basically I had commitment issues. I was like, maybe. Maybe.
You don't know. Yeah, because that is like a life commitment, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the fear is, if you're 40 years old, you're married to your partner, you've been with them for like 25 years, whatever. You've got children together.
Yeah.
You've got a mortgage together. Like, your whole life is like glue, with like each other, completely meshed together.
Intertwined.
And then imagine, like, now you're out in the dating pool, and everyone else
is fucking gone.
Like, the only other people that are single are the ones that just like were commitment phobes for their whole lives.
Yeah, no one wants them anyway.
No one wants them anyway because they just fucking hoes.
Yeah, they're just wasting time. Like, they're not ever gonna be serious.
Nah.
Yeah.
Did you see that tweet where it was like, oh, my grandma who's 65 got set up with a 70-year-old guy, and he said that he wasn't looking for anything serious. It's like, you're an old man.
What do you mean, sir? Sir, I think it's time to get serious. I don't think you have a choice.
That makes me feel scared. Actually, that is a fear of like,
I'm not looking for.
Like, imagine going your whole life and the only kind of men you ever meet are the I'm not looking for anything serious men.
Bro, I'm not being funny, but you better be looking for something serious if you need Viagra for us.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. No, stop.
Yeah.
Stop this.
But yeah, that's definitely one.
Okay, so someone said wrinkles. Agreed. I think just the change of, I think about this a lot more now, like our faces now, and I think especially when I look back at pictures of like my mum when she was in her 20s, I mean she still looks amazing, but like it's like, or even just anyone like older actors when they were in their 20s, like I do it a lot with Cameron Diaz. I don't know why, because I'm just like mesmerized by like, because she is an attractive woman, but when you see her in her 20s, it's like she looks airbrushed. It's crazy.
Yes, I know. But if we look at our faces now, we genuinely don't have wrinkles, and it's like we think that we're adults now, but we in 20 years from now, our faces are completely gonna change. Our hair's gonna be completely different as well.
People get jowls, you know.
You get what?
Jowls is like when you have like excess skin under your chin.
Yeah. Some of us just aren't gonna age very well, but I don't think I'm that scared of it, because I just think I'm more concerned with things like health, I think. But then that could be just me fooling myself. Maybe I'm in denial. Maybe when I become 40, I'll be like hyper conscious about wrinkles and grey hair and
I know I don't want grey hair. I just don't think it will suit me. I don't know. It's just not for me. Like I just don't like it. I think as well the transition of grey.
I think it's more the transition, isn't it? Yeah.
I just think it looks really unneat. I think it either has to be all grey or all.
You know what? One thing I'm not gonna do is cut all my hair off though. Like I don't know why that's like such an old lady thing.
Oh, you have really short like curly bands.
Yeah. Like I'm sorry, but I'm not.
I think they're just like, I don't care. Cut it off. Yeah. Cut it off, me.
No, I want to keep my hair long always. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, like my mum's best friend, she has really nice long thick hair, and I think that's really what makes her look so youthful, because she is in her 70s.
Yes, I know. I couldn't believe that when you said I know.
Yeah, she looks amazing. Yeah. She was very active. She's always been
a lot of energy as well. Yeah, it is interesting. Like I know some people who are in their 70s as well, and the way they like move around and talk, and like they're very much like, I would not think that they're in their 70s, like 50 years older than us. Like, no way. So,
I know. But at the same time, I've met people that are in their 70s that are completely the opposite and are kind of like the stereotype of 70s as well.
Yeah, like moving very slowly. And
yeah, but I think it completely depends on like your lifestyle choices.
Yeah, so like how you were from when you were young.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, no, sorry, but wrinkles and grey hair is a fear of mine. I don't deep sometimes that this is like the prime of our skin and the prime of our hair.
Yeah, like we need to start using retinol and sun cream every day.
Yeah, I use sun cream every day. Anyway,
yeah.
Scared. But like, all these like anti-aging products in the shop will be directed at us one day.
I know. I think they've already started, because isn't it that like your skin starts aging like at age 19 or something like that?
Oh, I thought it was you stop producing collagen, which is what helps the elasticity in your muscles and your skin. Yeah. Either at 25 or 30, and that's why people start to get Botox and stuff at 25. So it's preventative
Botox, yeah.
Which is just a selling technique. It's just a marketing technique.
There's a lot of de-influencing about that on the internet as well.
Yeah.
Because,
silly. Yeah. But I think if I was unhappy with how my face was looking, I would get Botox. I'm not anti it. I just like would like to go without. I would prefer to go without it. Yeah.
What about body changes? Like, for example, after you've had kids.
Yeah, that's what another one of our friends said.
Like scars, saggy boobs.
Saggy boobs. Why did you say it like that? Saggy boobs. It's like you made the word saggy boobs sound saggy.
I know.
Saggy boobs.
It's because it was either that or I was saying saggy titties, and I was like, ew!
I hate that word.
Titties.
Yeah, I really don't like it.
No, I quite like it.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really actually am completely fine with changes to the body after pregnancy. I think as long I've been looking at a lot more. It probably sounds really ignorant, but I've been looking at a lot more like content online of people that have just had babies that are very open about their bodily changes. And I just think as long as I'm prepared and ready, I think what catches people is the fact that they're caught off guard and people don't represent it very well in the media. Yeah,
and they think they're gonna have the snapback.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they are maybe 2 sizes bigger, and it is a transition, and it is like it can make you feel like you're out of your body and like you're not yourself in a way.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, I've always had stretch marks. I've had stretch marks since I was 10 because I just grew really quickly. I have stretch marks all like on my stomach. I have stretch marks. I remember someone saying as well, I can't remember who it was, but it was a bit of a backhanded compliment. Someone was like, oh, it's so good that you're like, you don't even care about your stretch marks.
Yeah, oh fuck off.
Shut the fuck
Shut
up.
up. Get out,
up.
Lucy.
You mean the fuck alone, weirdo. Why are you looking at me like that?
Innit? What?
Look away.
I actually just don't think people should comment on other people's
don't
bodies.
Don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Actually. Just never talk to me about anything. Don't talk to me.
Innit?
Get changed.
Don't mention
Leave me
my
alone.
body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really don't. I think because I've lived with it for so long, I do not care about my stretch marks. I've never like been with someone who has commented on them, like, you know, in a romantic or sexual way. No one's ever been like, oh, you're like, no. I have stretch marks on my boobs because they grew really quickly. I went from like a size A to a size like E in the space of 2 to 3 years. They grew really fast. So I have stretch marks on my boobs. So I already have like stretch marks. So I'm not really scared of getting more.
Yeah.
I know that your stomach can have really crazy stretch marks after giving birth. But yeah, I don't really mind that. I think, yeah, the boobs, saggy boobs, honestly, I wouldn't mind having like a breast reduction if I feel like they're just too big and they're uncomfortable, and they are, because my boobs are already quite big and they're heavy.
And they might get bigger after
pregnancy. They will get bigger.
Yeah.
So I've already thought about this. I'm happy to have a reduction. Yeah. So yeah, I'm happy to just roll with the punches. Really.
Really just punching the head.
I always do this. Yeah, I'm happy to just like roll with the punches and just like see what life brings me. And at the end of the day, when it comes to like pregnancy, I just feel like my body is designed to get pregnant. It's not anything that's going to like ruin my life unless I really sink into it. I think you have to be prepared for things to happen. Yeah. And like roll with it. So yeah. But yeah, I get why that's a fear, because it is like one of the biggest changes for women to go through as Definitely. Well. Houses, mortgages, cozy living.
Cozy living, just like actually being an adult and actually having to deal with like proper official stuff like
finances and being fully liable for all of it, and like the buck stopping with you. I think as well, having a permanent base is scary, because that's like, okay, well, I've invested into this property. I'm now gonna have to stay here for at least 5 years. For it to be worth it. Yeah, genuinely.
Or as well, like, there's no one that you can really go to. Like, you know, when you're like, you can't just always get a parent to bail you out. There's gonna be a point where there's actually nobody that's gonna bail you out.
Yeah,
like,
this is
no
on
one's
you.
Gonna come to rescue you, and you're the one that's gonna have to be financially responsible for like you and whatever children you decide to have. So like, it's gonna be quite scary thinking of all the responsibility, and like that when people are in scenarios like that, you can understand why people end up staying in jobs that they really, really hate, because they have to like have a stable income, because they need to be able to pay their mortgage. Like they just can't, you can't take as many risks in the same way. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I definitely think I've started to think more about financial investments, and also I think we spoke about this the other day, but like we're now getting to an age where the older I think we can see that the older we're getting, there's less time for it to be socially acceptable for us to like be figuring things out, and like, you know, okay, I'm just gonna like rent this apartment, then like I'll just move back home, and then I'll figure out maybe just do this and this and this. Like the time is limited now for that to be socially acceptable, and they'll get to a point maybe in the next, I mean, we're not super limited, we're not like, we've not got months on us, but like we'll get to a point maybe in the next 10 years where it's like, okay, but like where do you live and what are you doing in life? And it's like, okay, well maybe I should start thinking about that shit now, because I don't know where I'm gonna live. I've not actually properly, like, it's always been hypothetical of me looking around me going, that'd be fun to live there. In a dreamland. But like now it's like, no, look for houses. Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, like in my case, and what I actually put down as one of my fears is like if I end up living really far away and I end up missing out on my friends' lives, because I don't know where I want to live in terms of like country. Like I genuinely do want to live abroad, but then that is scary to think of, like, how am I gonna set up a life somewhere else? And how is that even gonna work in terms of like visas? and income and language barriers, and then being able to come back to England whenever I want, health insurance, how that works in other countries.
Yeah.
So much of that, and like,
I think that's always been a thing for me when it comes to living abroad. I feel like I could do like a stint abroad, but I always the first thing I always think about when it comes to like living abroad rather than traveling is the politics and legalities of a country, and I think sometimes people overlook that, and it's very important.
Yeah.
Because it's very much it'll determine like how much you're going to pay for living costs, and whether you can live somewhere for a certain amount of time, and how much you need to get prepared, like documents wise. And
yeah. Like, we're quite lucky in the UK in terms of like we can go to an NHS doctor and dentist, sorry, and doctor, and then get free healthcare, and even the dentist isn't that expensive if we need an emergency dentist appointment.
Yeah.
You do that shit in America, and you'll be coming back home with like 20k debt.
Yeah.
Honestly, like,
exactly. I think we take for granted. Actually, can I just segue a little bit, because just to quickly say, I think people in England do take for granted the system that we have, because I was speaking about this earlier. We are one of the least corrupt, like one of the least corrupt countries in the world. There are countries, plenty of countries whose governments are fucked up. We're quite good at actually holding our governments accountable.
And it is a very strict system here. Like, people follow the rules, and there's not that many, like, you can't cut corners that much in the UK. Like, because there is a reliable system where there is justice, and people will get fined out if they do some fucked up shit.
Yeah,
and so
that's not to say that people don't still do fucked up shit,
yeah,
but it's
course.
like, it's very hard to do it. I think some people get into a habit of, I mean, me included, get into a habit of complaining about certain structures and systems in England, and then we look at places that maybe we've been on holiday to, but then people like overlook the fact that you do actually need to look at how a system works if you're going to uproot your life there. Especially people that want to have kids and like bring their kids up. What's the education system like? Do you have to? It's all private, because some countries you have to pay for people for your kids to go to school, whereas with us it's illegal for you not to send your kids to school.
Yeah, exactly.
So
we might just think that the same rules from England apply to other countries. Like, for example, abortion is completely legal in the UK, so you might not worry about that when you go abroad. And then, you know, you get pregnant and you realise you can't actually, it's not allowed to abort in most of the countries in South America.
Contraception is illegal.
Is it?
Certain contraception is illegal. In certain South American countries.
That's interesting. I didn't know about
that. It's fucked.
That is interesting.
Because at certain countries that are Catholic, certain contraception is illegal. Because it's
oh my god. Anything.
So you can't get, I don't know, I think certain countries have like moved forward and they've allowed for certain types of contraception to be allowed, but like other types of contraception isn't allowed, and they don't have access to it. Like, for example, like the coil or contraception, the implant, things like that aren't available because they're not allowed. Like they just, cause I mean, it happens a lot when religion is intertwined with law. So
I think people forget about Ireland as well. Is it North Ireland?
Yeah.
Northern Ireland, that abortion's illegal as well.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think especially with the age that we're at, we're, you know, approaching or in mid-20s, and I think people come to a crossroads a lot when they're at this age, because they start to think about the future more and more, and about like what do I want for myself when I'm older, and then they start to think about, like you, where am I going to live, what's my plan, but then they bypass like all the important stuff.
Yeah, and then they're kind of stuck in a country where, you know, now they're regretting, like, why did I ever leave the good country that had everything that to take care of me. And
then it's like a case of, well, you've started a life there, and now you have maybe you have even like a partner there and kids there, and which one do you pick, because now you're stuck.
I know.
So,
it is scary, like, to think about all the decisions that we have to make, and like you were saying, we are reaching that age where it might become like limited. You know, we've got limited time to think about where we want to put down our roots.
100%. I think the decisions we make now, I think that's what's scary. The scariest thing for me is the decisions we make now, they are going to stick. That's not to say that you can't retract and change your mind. Like, you can always, there's no point in saying, okay, I made this decision, I'm not happy, but I made it now, so I'm just gonna. No, you can change your mind.
Yeah.
But like the impact will stick. Like if you make a decision of changing industries or going back to uni, that is now your debt. And you're an adult and you have to pay that back, and it's on you. And if it turns out that you weren't happy with doing another degree or whatever, I mean, you've done it now. You have to be aware of those choices. That being said, we are still in the prime of our lives.
We are in the prime of our lives. We are only in our 20s.
Yeah.
Still early 20s. 25 is early 20s.
Yeah. I'm like, and figuring stuff out is, I mean, how are you supposed to be able to figure stuff out when you've got half of the story? That's what we were given.
Half of the experience.
Yeah. At 18, when you're making these decisions about what degree you want to do and all that shit, and you don't even understand the benefits of different workplaces. Like, now I would take into consideration, what holidays do I get? Do I get healthcare? Do I get a payment plan? Do you help? Because certain places will help you buy a house. I would have taken that into consideration at 18, but I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Like,
or some places will literally pay for your degree.
Exactly. Or like other developmental courses.
Yeah.
And pay for like progression courses for you. I didn't think about that.
I know. It's not too late. We've only been in the working world for 2 years. Most people, if we retire at 65, we've got another 40 years of being in this world. So
it's true.
It's okay. We've got time to figure it out.
Yeah, I think in hindsight, I wish I did a business degree. I think it could
but then some people say that
it's a waste of
they've
time.
done a business degree and then they can't get any job with it.
Yeah,
in general, so.
I think that it's nice to be able to understand businesses though. I think it's actually really important because it can be applied to everything. At the same time, I guess you can just do an apprenticeship or just get into work, but
or just start your own business and then you have to learn everything from scratch.
Yeah, but that's scary, isn't it?
Yeah, but those make for the best
lessons.
Yeah, or the best stories as well.
True, but then it's like
those CEOs that are like, I started my business when I was only 22. And
in the garage of my parent, like. Oh
yeah.
God, yeah.
Well, we started our podcast in our flat, and now we're in the, what are we in?
Conservatory.
The conservatory of your mum's house.
Yeah. We've actually downgraded. We've actually no, this is a really nice spot. I like
it. And if you guys can hear the rain, it's all part of the ASMR for you guys. Yeah.
Part of the vibe that we're going for. It's like a rainy Sunday, cozy chat with us. Yeah. It's on purpose.
Have you got any other points?
I don't know. Have a think.
Yeah, so I mean, if anyone else can think of anything, please let us know. Leave a comment on our posts and message us.
Yeah, let us know what you're scared of so we can feel better.
Yeah, let's start a club.
Yeah, like the we don't want to get old club.
Yeah.
People probably look at us and laugh because we're in our 20s.
I know, yeah.
You know, they're real fears, okay? Like,
everyone has them. We would be lying to ourselves if we said we weren't scared of anything.
Exactly, so leave us alone.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you again
for
joining us for another episode.
Yes, we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, and remember, it's okay
to be clueless. Bye.
I really want to do you want to get the balloons and like pretend it's our birthdays but be like
and we could put birthday caps on us.
Yeah.